Hey Star Wars fans, welcome to the latest episode of the Star Wars Fanpedia Community Showcase. I'm Brandon Ray. Today I'm here with Brian Linder and Eric Morrow. How's it going, you guys?
What's up, man?
What's up? Good to be here, man. Excited, pumped. It was a big weekend.
It was a huge weekend because on Friday, the first trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens came out, and the internet kind of lost its collective mind, probably broke at some point. All the things you say when a huge trailer drops. So let's just get right into it. You guys, what did you think of the trailer?
I liked it a lot, of course. It's always funny, like, when I watched it the very first time, it's always funny to me to see Star Wars that's not staged in kind of like the classic old school trilogy way, which is most everything we've seen since then. But, it doesn't necessarily look like Star Wars, right? So that can be a little bit offsetting at first. Like, I feel like, JJ's definitely putting his stamp on this. He's wasting no time letting us know that this is his baby, and he's going to take his visual style. And while he's sort of going to, there'll be homages to the classic trilogy style of filmmaking, this is going to be something new and different. And I don't think he wastes any time kind of letting us know that. I think that's a large part of what this is for, to kind of shake things up and let us know. What did you guys think about that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I was telling actually Brandon before we jumped on this showcase here that I got to see it I have Apple TV. So, one of the options on Apple TV obviously is iTunes movie trailers. So I actually watched it on my, 52-inch HD LCD TV. So that was really cool. As close to a theater experience as I could have without going to a theater. So that was awesome. But that said, yeah, I was also telling Brandon that it was very much J.J. Abrams' stamp on the visuals, and I loved it, man. I thought, let's just to get right into it. The shots of the X-wings flying kind of right over the water with the water sprays, that was really cool. Just the motion and the camera following the Millennium Falcon at the end, that was slick. And even the shot of the stormtroopers, I guess they're in some sort of transport or something, and then the ramp comes down and they're going to come down. That to me actually felt very gritty too, almost like what you would expect in a war movie,
Right.
like that tension in literally a split-second shot. Something about the lighting and the this and the that. It was you felt that tension. So
You got like the whole like shaky cam thing going on there, right? With the drop ship when it hits the ground, yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of if people were about to parachute out of a plane or like a U-boat opening up and rushing the beach on the water, that sort of thing. I definitely saw that visual too.
just that moment, that particular, not to zoom in on that because there's obviously lots of other stuff to talk about, but that in particular, that moment, somebody, I don't know if it was you, Brandon, or you, Linder, that sent me a link a while ago. It was, some blog, and it was some guy that was like the Star Wars movie I'd like to see, and part of it was talking about just the brutality that was the actual war, between the rebels and the Empire, and showing like stormtroopers that are, to be honest with you, these it's like any war, right? You get enlisted or you get drafted into this, so you have to fight because you're part of that country or world or empire. So it's like you're not necessarily an evil dude, but you have to be in this army. And I don't know, all of that came back to me when I saw that one shot. It was really, really cool.
It's so great. Like the thing that surprised me again was just the tone and the intensity of this thing. Like, I didn't expect it to be like that. I thought we would kind of get a trailer that paid homage to the classic trilogy and kind of, rested on the laurels, I guess, of the original trilogy, like with some maybe opening shots where we kind of walk through the old saga. But this doesn't do that at all. It just starts out hardcore, dude. Like, they're not playing around. It's intense.
Yeah, I was expecting, something more like, a little more melancholy, like with the Force theme, something slower, maybe even like a recap trailer, episodes 1 through 6, that sort of thing. But I mean, they really, right at the beginning, when they have John Boyega pop up, like sweaty, clearly scared out of his mind, like that really set the tone for the whole
Yeah,
trailer.
it totally freaked my kids out too. Well, we were
Yeah,
watching
mine
it with
too.
the
Mine
Yeah,
too.
I've seen a bunch of like reactions on the internet of kids just like freaking out over that.
kids.
Yeah, I showed it to my 4-year-old. We were watching it on my iPad first, right before I realized I could watch it on the Apple TV, and he totally jumped. Right, it scared him. And then we switched over because my wife wanted to see it, so we were all on the sofa watching it, and he knew it was coming. He was sitting there like with his ears covered until the character popped up, and then he got into it.
What I love about that, one of the things I love about that shot is imagine being in the theater and watching that preview and you're not sure, you don't know you're watching the Star Wars trailer. I mean, you probably will now because you're one of the however many million people who watched it online. But yeah, imagine being in the theater and you see that scene pop up and then all of a sudden, like, John Boyega flies into the screen like that, startles
Yeah.
you.
And I will say also, just all the cool shots and everything aside, hearing the theme at the end of towards the end of the trailer too, that was just like, oh, and just seeing it with those visuals, all of it together, that was just a huge moment for me as well.
I thought it was really smart the way that they added that music in, because the trailer, with all that intensity, it kind of felt like every character was looking for something. Like you had John Boyega popping up, looking around, Daisy Ridley speeding off, the Sith dude or whatever, looking like he's waiting for something, and then you have the Falcon fly in, and it kind of really sets the tone for like they're going on an adventure. They're trying to find something, whether it's Luke Skywalker or whatever the rumor of the day may be.
Let me ask you guys, is there anything you didn't like? Did you see anything that kind of didn't work for you? Brandon?
The CGI looked like it needed a little bit of work, but I mean it's 13 months out, so
Yeah.
I'm not expecting, final quality or anything like that. That threw me off at first because the first time I watched the trailer, I thought it looked almost kind of like it was fan made. But the more I watched it, the more I kind of dug it, and I realized, oh, this actually starts to look pretty good. And obviously, the visuals will get a little better by December 2015.
What did you think, Eric? Anything that didn't work for you?
I not so much it didn't work, but just like what I would have liked to have seen or would have liked more of is the villain. I would have liked, I don't know, a little bit, even if it was that Darth Maul money shot, that we saw in the. I don't, this I might be confusing the Phantom Menace trailers because there were so many, but I feel like early on we did get kind of a money shot of Darth Maul where the blade comes out, he's standing in that doorway, and you got the double-sided blade. So even if it was something like that, like because you really, I mean, obviously there is no story reveal whatsoever here in this. You have no idea what this film is going to be about. But even if it just gave us that glimpse of the villain, I think that would have been pretty cool.
I guess maybe I'm in the mind. I didn't like the lightsaber. Like, that's the thing that I keep going back to. Like, maybe I'm like some kind of weird lightsaber purist, but all this kind of, I feel like there's this gimmicky stuff that we've seen happening, with lightsabers since, maybe it's to sell toys. I'm not sure what the motivation is. Maybe they're just getting tired of drawing the same thing, but like, we got the Sith, we got the Inquisitor on Rebels who has this crazy lightsaber that does ridiculous propeller tricks. And now we've got this guy in the movie, whoever he or she is, with this kind of laser hilt coming out of the side of the lightsaber. I don't know. That's the only thing that really bugged me, but that, I can't complain.
I will say it is impractical, right? Like there's no.
Doesn't it seem like it's impractical? Would you not burn your thumbs?
Well, yeah, there's clearly no, I don't know. I shouldn't say clearly. Somebody's going to comment in this video now and tell me how wrong I am, but I don't see what the use of that laser hilt would be. Like, at least, like you said, the Inquisitor, ultimately it's Darth Maul's lightsaber, right? It's a double-bladed sword, and you can spin it and toss it. There's a use, there's a function for that. I don't quite get the function of that laser hilt, but whatever. Maybe we'll see. Maybe
I've seen a lot of people who are like into swordsmanship and all that talk about how if Luke had had one of those in Empire, his hand probably would have been cut off, or would not have been cut off rather, because it's almost acting like a guard for the wielder. Somebody I know, a friend of mine, was telling me about an idea he had that I actually really like, where it's like this ancient weapon, and it's almost not really part of a lightsaber. It's almost like energy exhaust, because the thing would be so powerful that it can cut through other lightsabers. And the
Yeah.
reason that I like that idea is because if the bad guy is using a lightsaber that destroys other lightsabers, then you can't have these long, drawn out 10-minute lightsaber duels like we had in the prequels, and it makes the characters have to be a little smarter about kind of defeating the villain. So if that's where they went, I would be totally cool with
Yeah,
that.
I like that. I think that's cool.
So can I throw out? I don't know how speculative we want to get here, and we don't have to, but I will say the one. Let me throw this one question out because it was the one kind of thing that stuck with me that I've been thinking a lot about after seeing the trailer. And I mean, clearly the Empire is not gone. It's not vanquished. It's not even in the state that it was in the expanded universe. Because in the expanded universe, you kind of had pockets, right? You had like, was it Grand Admiral Thrawn and his fleet that was like in deep space when all this happened, deep in the Empire. So at least he was still able to kind of have his fleet and then pull together any kind of remnants of the Empire that existed out there for these little almost like attack squads. But it's not even that. Like to me, this still seemed like a fully functioning Imperial army.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this kind of is a sign that maybe JJ and the current leadership are not too keen on the revisions that happened in the special editions, which I think maybe bodes well for us. So maybe that whole ending of Return of the Jedi with the massive galactic celebrations everywhere, maybe that's all out the window now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I liked those revisions. Like, I'm cool with the planets being there, and I think they can easily spin that as like, oh, well, they're celebrating the death of the Emperor. And I think I said to you, Brian, at one point, that maybe what we didn't see in the movie is that, like, 30 seconds later, the stormtroopers come out and just, like, open fire on the protesters. But, I was reading the new book, Tarkin, that just came out recently, and they spent a lot of time kind of looking at how the Empire works, and they talked about how the Emperor doesn't really have anything to do with the day-to-day affairs of the Empire. He's more concerned about the dark side and the cosmic happenings, and he has people to run the Empire, which to me says that the canon and Lucasfilm are trying to establish right away, yeah, the Emperor is a big deal, but he's not the be-all, end-all of the Empire, and when he dies, it still lives on as it did, without a new republic or anything like that.
That's a crazy long war, though, right? Like, we're talking now, yeah. This movie takes place, 30 years after Return of the Jedi? And A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, how many years was that? That was, 4 or 5 year span?
Yeah.
So, wow, we're almost talking 35 to 40 years this war has been going on, if it's still, like, a fully functioning empire, I guess,
Yeah, and I mean, they could have had like a Cold War or something at one point where they weren't really fighting each other. But, I think it makes sense, too, that with something as big as a galaxy, then it's going to take a long time to kind of destroy an empire like that. And it could always set up a galaxy that's like, there is still the rebellion, there is still the empire, but in the middle of it, the galaxy has been like totally obliterated, and it's just like this dark, rundown place. And that could be kind of interesting, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of room for spin-off ideas there too, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, what do you guys think? Let's jump forward now. What's next, right? What trailer-wise, of course. When do you think we'll see another trailer? Mm-hmm. B, what do you think the contents of that trailer will be? Who do you think we'll see? What do you think we'll see, etc.?
I wouldn't be surprised if that Star Wars Celebration in April. I think that's sort of the obvious place to debut, almost like a maxi trailer where you'll see, it may not even be the one that's released theatrically. There may be something even bigger released there. With the full story kind of at least, sketched out. And maybe even some more, but hopefully I don't know. All three of us are going, right? Like we'll all be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll bring the whole cast out on stage, and we'll watch the trailer there for the first time. That's what I'm betting on.
Yeah, and I mean, right after Anaheim, like a week or two after, is Age of Ultron, which that's a logical place for a Star Wars trailer. If not there, then Ant-Man. But I think what we'll probably see in the next trailer, we'll, like you said, we'll get a sense of what the story may be. We'll see a little bit of Han and Leia and kind of get a sense of what they're up to. And if the rumors are right about what kind of the thrust of this film is, then I wouldn't be surprised if we ended the trailer kind of seeing a character saying, "We need to find him." Somebody says, "Find who?" Then they say Luke Skywalker, and we get a shot of like crazy bearded Luke Skywalker in a cave or something, just to kind of keep him limited, but really tease him and get people talking about it.
I like that.
Yeah, I think you guys are right too about. You kind of have to, right? You have to reveal the original cast in the next trailer, but you're right that it'll be around April, May, because that'll give them plenty of time to perfect the visual effects necessary to not make them look like The Standing Dead, basically.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
they're so old. Get it? They're so old.
You're so ageist, man.
Yeah, horrible. Horrible.
No, but yeah, that'd be a cool opportunity to do. Give the attendees of Star Wars Celebration something special. Reveal a trailer, and then, like you said, Brandon, like a week, and then you could just say, okay, then general public a week or two later with Age of Ultron. Makes total sense.
I'm ready. Let's go now.
Let's go. Can't come quick
Yeah,
enough.
I think that's based on that. I think that's exactly what the teaser was hoping to accomplish. So they did their job.
Nice.
Cool. Well, I think that's it, right? Should we pimp the Fanitation, Brandon?
Yes. Tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, we will be releasing a fanitated version of the Force Awakens trailer. Fanitation being fan annotations. And it'll have facts and trivia found on different Star Wars Wikis, like Wikipedia. And that'll be out tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. It'll be on our Twitter page, and it'll be on Fanpedia. Anything else you guys want to add?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
And may it awaken.
Well, cool. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Star Wars Fanpedia Community Showcase.
See you guys.